Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast with your host, Dulgheru, aka the Solutionist. You are about to discover priceless insight, experiences, and perspectives that will inspire and empower you to break down your own obstacles and reprogram your own limiting beliefs. All while raising women business owners to the pedestal that has been long awaiting, the coronation of true, principled women in business. Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast.
Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast. Here, we talk with female women business owners about our struggles, our wins, what we experienced while growing and forming our business. Because truly the goal here is to learn from each other so that we can grow and scale our businesses, ultimately for that exit day where we can obtain that big payday, that big valuation that is going to make the difference for everybody, yourself at the closing table. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dulgheru, aka the Solutionist. I'm here today with the lovely Julie Elves, founder of Unleash Your Lioness. And you guys are in for a great treat today. When I met Julie, our conversation was profound. We ended up spending hours on the phone talking with each other and really clicked from the very first moment we said hello. And I'm sure each and every one of you are going to experience that today. For those of you who are on the audio only, make sure that you hop over to our YouTube channel so you can catch the video portion and really tap into the fire that we're about to light right now. So with no further ado, Miss Julie, thank you so much for being with me today. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
I'm so glad you were able to be with us. Now, you are calling in from Italy.
Yes, right? I'm in the Italian Riviera, yes.
But I hear the British accent.
Yes.
How long have you been in Italy?
12 years now.
Okay.
I'm a British expat.
How do you like Italy? I know so many people want to go and visit. We have these grand stories of Milan. How do you like it? Does it meet up to the grand story?
From a tourist perspective, it ticks all the boxes. But when you're living in a country, it's different. Very different. Yes, very, very different. You really get under the skin of the locals, but you get the touristy side of things, especially when you get visitors coming and you can be a tour guide. That's great. I love doing that.
Now that COVID's over, you can get back to that, right?
Yeah.
I know you love to be around people. I'm sure that was a hard adjustment when COVID came through and, you weren't really able to get out and get that human one-on-one interaction. We always had virtual, but we've had virtual for, some time, but there's still that one-on-one interaction. Nothing really replaces that.
No, a hug, you cannot replace a hug.
Virtual hugs just don't quite cut it.
No, they don't. And hugging yourself still not quite the same.
Agreed. So I know all about Unleash Your Lioness and your magical specialties, but tell everybody listening here about what Unleash Your Lioness is about. What's the goal, and really what's your mission and your passion?
Okay. Wow. There's a lot of things in there. Okay. We all have a lioness inside of us. People call it power. Other people call it, a strength. Okay, that an inner child, something that wants to come out and be on display all the time. But if you're like me, it's been silenced at an early age because of very strong social norms and rules from your parents and the education system and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean. So it takes a while for you, but most people don't actually wake up and realize they have a lioness inside of them. And that's very sad, really. But it takes a while for you to realize that I could be better than I am. Yeah. And that's basically the essence of being a lioness. You can be so much better than you are, better than what your parents expect from you, better than what society has, molded and shaped you into, right? So, so I've been called a lioness. So that's why I use the label lioness, because people here have never met anybody like me. I'm assertive as opposed to aggressive. I'm assertive, and I get my point across, and I can make a room of people sit up and beg and listen to me, which is what I couldn't do when I was younger. I was literally invisible.
Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast.
How did you make that bridge? I know, it's not just me, because I went through the same thing, right?
Yeah.
How did you bridge that? And what was kind of that defining moment for you? I'm sure that millions of people are still struggling with that same thing, whether it's in the boardroom or at the party that they're hosting. There's a lot of people that struggle with that because not everybody is an extrovert.
Yes, I know. I wasn't. I was very much an introvert. My mother used to speak for me, so I never had a voice. So I've gone from one extreme to the other extreme, and now I can't shut up.
What was your pivotal moment?
I would have to say it was, am I allowed to swear? No. Yeah? Are we casual?
Adults.
All right, we're all adults. Okay. We have an expression in England that is the shit dumpster. The shit dumpster was parked outside my door for 10 months when my dad died. Okay. And I believe it's usually a culmination of many, many things. And then the straw breaks the camel's back. And you're not getting the messages from the universe or whoever, and you're not picking up on the nuances, and you're not changing direction, let's say. Okay. And it gets to the point where all of this crap comes in at you all at once. It's really overwhelming. My God. If you haven't got the acumen and the willpower, because it is willpower, and the courage to get through it and know, what is it, the determination, but the forward thinking and optimism that you can get through anything, and no challenge or adversity is big enough that you cannot get through, right?
I am possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when you understand that concept, you don't go and hide in a corner and become sad and depressed. Yeah? No. Because you're a fighter. That's when you become a fighter. And you're like, I'm going to get through this. Come hell or high water, I'm getting through this. Because there's more to life than just being cut down at the prime of my life, let's say, And so the lioness came out after this 10 months. It was a snowball of stuff. I even lost my job. I was unemployed. I had a car accident. I broke up with my fiance. I was ridiculed by my parents. It was an avalanche of stuff. And
how long ago is this?
Oh, this was in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2006 is pretty much when I really started to wake up. I was starting to wake up slowly, but that was a real big jolt to the system, And I'm like, okay, I've got to do something. I cannot sit here wallowing, feeling depressed, which I did. I went to the doctor, and of course they prescribed you with drugs. And I'm thinking, I don't need drugs. I do not need to be comatose. How am I going to help myself if I'm comatose, right?
Great.
Yeah. Great. So I'm thinking, no, you have self-help books. I was starting to buy and read self-help books, like Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Highly recommend that. Wow. You just dive in, whatever mood you're in, whatever emotion you're feeling, you just dive into the book and you find an uplifting story. Yeah, it's amazing. And I had the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That was my lifesaver. That really was my life-saving book. Okay, and it taught me to go from pain to power, and step into the power that you are as a lioness, as a lion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so
I like that, you and I, not a similar story, but kind of a similar journey in that, everything came to this culmination.
Yeah.
And there was that wake up moment where hell or high water, we're going to win, because this endless cycle of not winning and succumbing to somebody else's will or expectations has to stop. And I'm sure that, women business owners and just people in general really identify with that, because so often we're taught from a very young age, do what you're told, go along with society, go along with the group, don't make waves. And that is what got me personally kind of into that rut of depression that I experienced when I was younger. And, just like you read those books, I found those books to be also a pivotal turning point as well. And I think, actually on that subject, because there are so many business owners or people in general who do struggle with mental health and depression, and they genuinely feel like there's no way out unless it's through a chemical. Also, side note, this is not medical advice. This is my own experience and that of Miss Elves. Do what's right for you. But I found that, using pharmaceuticals made the situation worse, made me comatose. And once you start going within and looking in to shine out, that's when you find that principal turning point.
Well, you find the courage within to step into your power.
Yes, because there's nobody else that can give you the courage.
Yeah, exactly. And society kind of dumbs us down and shuts that switch off, right?
Very much
kind of, yeah.
Very much so.
Yes.
So Unleash Your Lioness has a history. Can you tell us more about your professional background and where you came from and how we ended up at Unleash Your Lioness?
Wow. I have a very colorful background. I've come from programming. I was a programmer, a very good one. Before the .com, before the millennium bug, had I known, I could have been a millionaire-ess by now, but that wasn't meant for me. That wasn't my path. Then I went into electronic engineering because I didn't want to be sitting programming. And this is a typical example. I listened to the wrong people and they influenced my career and my direction. And they said, if you want a long-term career as a programmer, then you have to get used to dealing with idiots. Okay, now idiots, literally idiots, because it's ID10T is the computer joke. Okay. An idiot is when a user makes a mistake, you say, oh, it's an ID10T error, and they don't know what ID until you write it down and it says idiot, right? Yeah.
Okay.
and so they told me the further up you go in promotion in computing and IT, the more interaction you're going to have with these idiots. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And of course it's not true, is it? But that's what I thought. And so I got influenced and I changed my tack and I decided I wanted to get inside the computers and start building them.
Okay.
I've always been good with my hands and stuff. And so, I did a 5-year electronic engineering degree, which was really hard work.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't got very good. I'm not very good with numbers. And you've got to be good at maths.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be very good at maths.
You're highly technically inclined. So I aim to be more like you. I love technology. We get along pretty well, but sometimes, we have that vibrational mix. And don't be terribly shocked if you get a call from me one day. But you can't call me an ID10T.
No, of course you're not. No. I mean,
now that I know that, I'm going to use that more often.
Okay, you don't use the CD player as a drinks holder, do you?
No.
Oh, well, that's an ID10T, typical customer service support problem.
Do they really do that?
Yes, they do. Oh, goodness.
I'm living in the south of the United States, and we have our saying, bless their heart. Somebody go help them.
Yes. I would hate to be a customer services, a customer tech person taking all these calls. I'd be constantly banging my head on the wall going, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's a really big jump going from computing to computer engineering to
Yes.
really getting in down and dirty with other women to help them find their inner strength and their inner lioness, to come out here and be assertive, not aggressive.
Yes, assertive.
Because, see, I'm sure you hear this all the time. People get assertive and aggressive mixed up all the time.
Yes.
And they are not synonymous.
I know. You don't have to tell me that. They're always telling me I'm aggressive because they don't understand the meaning of the word.
I'm surprised, really kind of shocked. You don't walk around with those pages of the dictionary being like, no,
no,
that just doesn't work.
no, but no, there's a gap in between me becoming this transformation coach I am today, and that is I've always been in education. I've always had this passion of educating people in some shape or form, passing on wisdom, teaching people how to do things, translating techie language into simple layman's terms. So I used to be a technical writer. I had an illustrious career as a technical writer, writing operator manuals, doing fancy service guides for Xerox photocopying machines, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm originally from Rochester, New York, where Xerox originated.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. There we go. Yes. I've done some cool stuff. I mean, I've been working on tanks. I've officially signed the UK Secrets Act 3 times. 3 times. Wow. Not many people have done it 3 times. But it's all expired now. I can tell you all the secrets.
So that's a huge shift.
Yeah, very big.
To go from computers to educate. Well, I guess from the education to Unleash Your Lioness isn't the hugest shift, but going from highly technical, not so educational, because educational, you have to be able to speak that other person's language and really get into their mind and learn how they learn to be able to convey the information. And I know that not most technically inclined people are able to create that translation for the layman. But so you did technical to education. So you kind of made that transition there. But what motivated you to begin Unleash Your Lioness? Like what was the passion and the mission that drove that creation?
Well, I knew, after my technical writing career, I kind of took a hiatus and didn't know what to do with my life and what I was going to do. And I literally stepped away from that career at the pinnacle of my career. And I know a lot of you will think I'm crazy, but if you're, a type A female, right? And you're really ambitious, right? You know that you hit the pinnacle and that's it. You need to leave that industry. You need to be successful in another industry, because otherwise you become complacent. You start making mistakes. Your quality of service or product or whatever starts going down, right? So I left it, and I'm very proud of what I achieved. I don't brag about it, but I am. And then I decided, okay, let's take 18 months off and just travel around the world, because I had money, I had time, and I had the travel bug. I always have the travel bug. But the other 2, not so much. And so I took a year and a half off, took 41 flights all over the world. I met some amazing people, which just opened up my world,
Yeah.
And everywhere I went, people were magnetized to me, I was attracting all these wonderful people. Just being
That's not a shocker. That's not a shocker at all. You are very highly magnetic.
Oh,
agreed.
Thank you. I didn't think so at the time. I was still struggling with my identity back then, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I love these people. I love socializing. I love educating them about stuff and where I've been all over the world. It's still a form of education, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it comes in all different shapes and sizes. So it was like, okay, so what can I do next? And then I went into teaching English, because everybody was influencing me again. But your British accent's fantastic, and you only have to study the grammar. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to teach grammar. It's so boring. So I cut myself a little niche, and I'm a highly successful English conversation teacher.
In Italy.
Not many, yeah.
Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast.
There's not many of us around. I've even created my own bespoke program, course called The Secret of English, which doesn't exist as far as I know, and especially not in Italy. And so I know all about niching, and this is a business for me, yeah? I've got the business acumen, I do. And then I decided, okay, the COVID hit. And I'm thinking, I'll take a couple of months off. I won't teach anymore. It'll be okay. The universe will look after me. No, I got totally dumped by the universe.
Oh no!
I had a 1-year eviction hanging over my head during a state of emergency. They're trying to evict people here.
You didn't have the moratoriums?
No, no, they don't exist here.
Oh wow!
No, thankfully, she was a religious person, so it wasn't so cut and dry that I had to leave and I was thrown out on the street, or I had to go and live and be cared for by the church. Right? She kept renewing the eviction notice, but living under that stress it's really bad.
Yeah.
Constant stress all the time, and I didn't have money. The universe helped me out. Okay, this is where my business starts kicking in, right? I got I've been buying NLP stuff, trying to learn Italian. I have a mental block when it comes to Italian. Okay, it's just too complicated for me. Way too complicated. Too many bloody syllables as far as I'm concerned. So I decided to buy some NLP programs. It came in. Steve G. Jones, he did a mega sale. He was selling all of his stuff, some of it worth $300 a package for $1. So I went on a massive shopping spree and bought 100 products. I must have bought 100 products. And then he did it again the next year. He does it regularly. And I decided, there's one called Learning a Foreign Language. Wow.
What does NLP mean? If we can clarify for everyone.
Yes, Neurolinguistic programming.
Ooh,
it's a combination of guided meditation.
Yep.
And binaural beats. Okay.
You'll have to share that with us so I can put that in the links when this episode comes out.
Okay.
I'm sure everyone who's listening to us, they want to grow. And they're always looking for that to tap in and bring more of that in, especially as people are hearing more about binaural beats and neuro-linguistic programming.
It's the big thing now.
I don't want to say an open subject because it's always been an open subject, but it's more of a widely known subject and practice nowadays. So awesome. Yes. Sorry to interrupt you. Keep on.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm NLP certified now with this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not that I use the NLP in my coaching, but it's good to have the NLP certification, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I know what it is. I use it every day. So and so this guy, I think it was in July. Yeah, in July when I was really struggling, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I had to really pivot my business online somehow, and finding students online wasn't helping. Couldn't find anybody online, and who could pay me. I did 40 hours of free lessons to Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Burmese people, Malaysian people, Filipinos, you name it, all in third world countries, Brazilians. Some of them have become my friends, and I'm happy to improve their English, because we talk about other things as well. We're helping each other, but that was part of my growth, because I was scared of going online, really scared of going online. This is one of my biggest fears, being highly visible,
I can appreciate that better than most.
Yeah. And so I was like, if you're going to be successful online, okay, and you're going to start a new career online, then you need to get over this big fear. So get your ass into gear and start promoting yourself. You're not going to believe this. In the height of summer, and it's really hot here, I'm trying to record my intro video. It took me 26 takes to do it, and the sweat is pouring down my face.
I am the same way. When I first started doing video, my mentor was, you got this. You do this all the time. What's the big deal? I'm like, no. Like it's the visibility factor, right?
Yeah.
And 26 times, that was a genius. I think I probably did my first couple of videos probably 50 times, so much that I filled up my memory. And I had to keep going off and clearing off the memory to make room for the next takes.
Yeah, I had the same.
This might also link back to the type A perfectionist portion of me, where, we're always the hardest on ourselves.
Oh, God, yes.
Surely nobody else would have noticed.
Yeah,
but I did.
Exactly.
And the fact that I did, like, I didn't want to get out about myself. But, over the years, I've come to accept and realize that I'm really the only one who's going to nitpick at that.
Of course.
And it's become a challenge for me just to say, it's fine. That's just me, doing my normal perfectionist thing. Everything's great. And that was a big hurdle to jump over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but your perfectionism really kicks in, and you've got this big argument going on in your head. Just leave it. It doesn't have to be 100%. 90% is okay. And the other one's going, no, we need it 100%.
Yes, agreed.
God. Yeah.
And all of the type A's out here listening to us right now are like, oh my gosh, me too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a nightmare when you're like that. Thankfully, I've moved away from being perfect. Because when the more you get into online, you understand that messy is better than done is better than perfect. Is it?
Real, raw, and relevant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Real, raw, and relevant. And I found that, that's what people look for the most is the real part of you, because that's relevant to them. So not necessarily are they looking for that perfect person that's this, like the magazine spreads, right?
Oh, yes.
Perfectly airbrushed. They're completely composed. They've got someone reading their cards for them. But that's not real. That's not who we are at the end of the day.
Of course.
Real, raw, and relevant. And that's something that I still but I always like to put forth the absolute best aspects of myself. Even when I'm in my house clothes and my pajamas, walking around the house, hanging around with my cats, that's still that ingrained portion of me.
Oh, you got cats. Yeah, I knew you had animals.
If I lived more of a dog lifestyle, I'd have a dog. But,
yeah. But I think, again, like the transformation into the lioness, when you've got strict parents and you're programmed, I call it, because coming from a computer programming background, when you're programmed to think a certain way, it takes a lot to deprogram yourself.
Doesn't it?
To strip out the crap that you don't resonate with anymore, like silly superstitions from your mother, like me. Oh my God. Yeah. And just pick and choose what resonates with you as a person that you are today, because we're always evolving, right?
And being that authentic self, right?
Yeah,
not the one that everyone wanted you to be, but actually being that version of you.
Exactly. Yeah. So it takes a certain kind of person to really, do that. And the book helps. Feel the fear and do it anyway really helps to understand that, because your parents are instilling the fear. And in my opinion, fear is what is causing so much division in this world. It comes in so many different shapes and forms. It really does.
Yes. Sadly, you're right about that. It's not just fear of something scary, but it's fear of failure. It's fear of standing out in the wrong light. There's so many versions of fear, and it gets manifested in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that people listening to us here are thinking, oh, I'm not afraid of anything. But if we narrow that down a little bit, and instead of saying, I'm not afraid of anything, what are the things that trigger you to pull back? That's still fear.
Yes, even
and those
worry.
Things that
worry
trigger
is
you to
fear.
pull back are the ones you go after.
Yeah, and even if you're feeling worried, you're fearful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we call it a different name, and use a different word, worry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fear. Yeah, it's usually fear of the unknown. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. Yeah.
Isn't that the most fun in life, though? Or is that just me?
It can be.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. I thrive on change. I always have.
Yeah, me too.
Living in all parts of the United States, traveling 36 countries. I loved it. I loved going to countries where I didn't speak the language.
Yeah.
Charades became a part of everyday life.
Yeah.
Until you learned how to say the basic things. But those are things that I thrived on. Probably also one of my traits that makes me most successful in business. And I can pivot on a dime. If something needs to change, cool, let's change that. How can we do that the best way? And I'm sure we're not alone in that, but people really have a hard time grasping the idea of now I have to do something new to get where I want. And that triggers the fear, right?
Yes.
But if we embrace it and instead of being, I'm going to be fearful, what if we taught ourselves that now I'm going to go to the next level? Now I'm going to grow into the next best version of me or of my business or of whatever you're growing in, whatever stage at that point. What if we really grasp that as change instead of fear? And I'm sure that's probably, in so many words, what you did to kind of pivot from where you were teaching English to now you're helping other women, other individuals to really seize their own lioness and let her or him or whatever identifier we need to use out to shine in the world, not out to be offensive or obnoxious, but
oh, that's not me at all.
No, not you at all. So did you have any guidance or mentoring or a teacher that was kind of helping you put together Unleash Your Lioness?
Yes.
How did you put that together?
Well, an email came in, right? The universe sent me an email.
Okay.
From this guy who I bought all the NLP from. And he was offering me, because I was a valued customer, a fast track coaching program for $10. $10.
Wow.
$10. So I did it. I seized the opportunity. I'm always doing that. Carpe diem. I'm a little bit of a shiny object syndrome person, but I'm getting over that now. And then he then sent me another email saying, do the advanced course, which will help you market yourself as an NLP certified life coach. For $47. So for less than $100, I'm certified.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was an intensive course. I mean, there was a lot of material to it, right?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Neurolinguistics is a very in-depth and it can go on for infinitum because there's so much to learn and things are always evolving in the human mind, especially as you learn. Your neural synapses are evolving, which by default means that your system and your program also need to evolve to take you to the next level.
Yeah, it's if you think about software, you have to get upgrades, you have to get hot fixes, you have to get add-ons, you have to get this and that, all the time.
Right. Yeah. And they're usually at the worst time. If you're my computer, it's precisely at the worst possible moment. And it takes 3 hours.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, maybe that's just me. All right.
So I got this certification and I thought, right, what am I going to do with it? Well, everybody's calling me a lioness. And I know fear is a big, big thing. And I know there's people out there suffering from my specific fear, but there's loads of other fears. So I'm thinking, okay, I can use the book as a guiding rod to help me sculpture and craft an amazing coaching package using all of the self-development tools I've picked up over the years. Okay. And
Agreed.
so it creates, what I've created is something phenomenal. It really is. And I don't call myself a coach, by the way. I did do a little short coaching program with somebody, and he says somebody gave him the idea of a specialist. And I said, oh, I like that. And I said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to call myself the Fear and Self-Esteem Specialist.
Yes. Everyone's a coach now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Now, that's not to lessen the name and the role of a coach, right? But the truly powerful and change implementers are specialists. They're strategists. You know, Tiger Woods has a coach, Michael Jordan. Everyone has a coach. All of the greats have coaches.
Yes.
Voice coaches, business coaches, spiritual coaches. There's nothing to demean a coach, but it's really when you get into that specialty where you can zero in, you know, laser focus, just like a magnifying glass in the sun. You can really zero in and enhance and grow those specified skills with that specific specialized person.
Yeah, it's like going from a doctor to a surgeon, an employee to a consultant or a contractor.
Great.
Yeah, in the 9-to-5 world jargon. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Agreed. Yeah. So did you have someone guiding you to kind of form yourself with the Italian government so that you can kind of mitigate tax liability to preserve more of your revenue within your business?
I haven't done it yet. I'm going to register my business because it's online in Estonia. Now here's a tip. Estonia and maybe Lithuania and Latvia are offering online businesses to register there so that they get to legally evade paying tax to the country that they're living in. Because I'm living in the highest tax bracket country in all of Europe. Right? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So how is Italy going to take to that?
Well, you see, they don't see it as that. I cannot pay tax because if I pay tax, I'm not even at that minimum bracket for a start. And if I pay tax, I'm going to be homeless.
Got it.
So I'm not doing anything illegally, until I start earning and I go over that line, okay? But they're not understanding that while I'm here, I'm paying indirectly tax on all the services and the products I use while I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am inadvertently paying a tax. I'm just not paying tax on my salary because I'm not earning enough. Right. And the service tax and the value added tax is pretty high here anyway. Yeah. 22, 20, sometimes 27%. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that high in Italy.
Yeah, the average salary is only €1,000 a month.
Really?
No, maybe it's 1,200. The average. Okay, and rent can, if you're renting, or even if you've got a mortgage, I mean, 600 could be gone just like that, and you're only left with 400. So you've got to be really, you've got to be really, tight. Not tight. I mean, have your belt really pulled tight and budget yourself to make that 400 last for food, any kind of luxury that you have, and, entertainment, I
have a question for you.
Yeah.
We said that there's an average of €1,200 income per month.
Yes.
Is there a gender discrepancy where
yes.
men? Is there really still?
Is
it a big discrepancy?
Lauren, it's all over the world.
Oh, I know that.
It's 30% in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Up to 30% in Hollywood. It's ridiculous.
And that's just not even employees. That's business owners. Women-owned businesses have a harder time obtaining capital, getting approved for traditionalized capital, for getting vendors to service their company. forgetting asking prices on the goods, services, and specialties that they're offering. And to me, in my own mind of minds, which I really can't be that far off in this, is insane. We are in 2022.
21st century.
Not 1965.
Yes. I know.
How are we still trying to bridge this gap? In my, again, perfect world, right?
Yeah.
How are we still going through this? What would you say to other women in business would be what you experience, a good way to get through it and to get back that equality?
Unfortunately, I have to say, in the 9-to-5 world, you are not going to find that equality.
Yeah. It's very
not
difficult
in the 9-to-5 world. Unless you're clever like I did. I needed the training, and the companies I was working for didn't really believe in training. They didn't understand the value of training. Yeah, I know.
Because you were just supposed to wake up and know everything?
Oh yeah. It's always on the job, training. Make your mistake, and the boss really gets angry at you, but you're learning as you're on the job. Yeah, I've been in many situations like that. And so, and until you start screaming and shouting, which I did in one of my companies, I said, how on earth do you expect me to produce, quality industry standard documentation without having the skills to leverage the program that I'm supposed to produce this with? You need to give us an intermediate advanced course and make it customized to what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I screamed from the rooftops to get this done, yeah? But
hopefully they took action?
Oh, they did, yeah. But then I left that company, and then it was like the only way for me to survive and to get promotion, and to get to have what I was calling, achievement in my life, and getting up my own career goals, not anybody else's. Yeah, because I had certain stages I had to achieve. At a certain age, I was matching my age with my salary. I don't suggest anybody does that, but I did. Excuse me a second. And so if you are a type A, like we are, I would highly suggest, and if you are stuck in the 9-to-5, that you move around, because nobody stays in a job any longer than 2 years now in the UK.
2 years. Nobody. That was the standard that I was taught from my
6 months. I spent 6 months in one job. Yeah.
I was always accused of not being there long enough. And more times than not, it came back to, now that we're talking about it, that inequality, because even my male counterparts didn't produce like I did, but somehow they were getting all of these perks, these benefits, this higher pay. And, the second you start saying something, oh, now you're the bad guy. Now you're bringing up everyone's thorns and spikes. How dare you? Which pushed me back into owning my own businesses, because I was sick to death of being undervalued, underpaid. Not getting vacations, not having any appreciation for my knowledge, my skills, my experience. And that pushed me back into owning business. But even in owning a business as a woman, I still found that it was harder to get what we were worth, because I was a woman. And male counterparts, even though they didn't offer the same level of service, the same quality of production, they were getting more. Yeah. And it blew my mind, and again, my perfect world mind, I didn't want to tie that back to, well, it's gender inequality. We're in 2000, we're in the millennium. How is that possible?
I know. Yes. Yeah.
But even in 2022, we're still struggling with it.
I know.
We're going to band together and we're going to find a way to get out of it.
Yes.
So as a business owner in both, let's talk about the English program and Unleash Your Lioness. How have you bridged that? How have you overcome the gender differences?
Well, when you're self-employed, people don't see you as male or female, right?
Don't they?
No, they don't see that. No. not when you're an English teacher, not when you're a coach. Well, at least I don't think so. No, there's less gender division or inequality, right? This is just my experience, my observation. I'm very good at observing things going on. So you don't have to. You don't feel like you're in competition all the time with the men, and that's what you feel like when you're in the 9-to-5 realm. You know.
I can appreciate some of that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a coach. I work in private banking, finance, business strategy, and that is a highly male-dominated industry.
Yes.
So when I walk into a boardroom or I walk into a new organization, I'm only 5 foot something. Right?
Oh.
They look at me and they're like, who's this?
Yeah.
I expected a much older woman or somebody with an entire, entourage walking in behind me. So, for a few instances, it was putting on my stilettos and we're going to do this, because when you look at me and you see my stature and, I'm tiny, I don't necessarily, I'm underestimated. Right?
Yeah,
whereas
of course.
A male counterpart, we could have the same body frame, be very short, both dressed in suits. And because banking, finance, all of that, the attention goes to him, even though he doesn't have the specialized education. He might not have the experience or the insider knowledge or the team that I have behind me.
Yes.
And just because of my gender, that client would have been underserved because they're so used to seeing a man in that role.
Yeah, of course. The stereotypes are so strong in a lot of people, and we have to break away from these stereotypes. Yeah,
very much so.
Yes,
very much so. There's so that we could do a whole episode on breaking stereotypes.
I know.
We could talk for hours on that, literally, and get in a whole lot of trouble while we're doing it.
Yes.
So stereotypes need tools. Women need tools. Business owners need tools to overcome these big challenges that we're experiencing in, both our day-to-day business life, our professional life, but also personally. Because sometimes we kind of mesh those together, even though they shouldn't be. We have that professional mask, we have this personal mask, and somehow we have to keep them separate. What is your most important or most effective tool that you've armed yourself with in really elevating yourself as a woman business coach who's helping other women to find their inner strength and their light?
There is a trick that I do, and that is I stand in front of the mirror.
Okay.
And I tell myself that I am worthy, I am successful, and I really, really look deep into the eyes, and
now,
I mean it.
Are we snoot to snoot with the mirror, or are we standing 2 feet back?
Oh, you can do it like that with your face, your nose right up against it, but you've got to be looking at your eyes, really deep. Because you're basically talking to your subliminal, your subconscious mind, sorry. And so and it also helps, because I learned this from a coaching buddy of mine, to stand there in a Wonder Woman pose. Okay, because that gives the body language kind of gives you the power, let's say, the emotional power that you need to then deliver the words and then look yourself in the eye. Yeah.
It's not just words. It's the power behind the words coupled with the body language.
Yeah.
That's important. I'm glad you brought that up because affirmations have become a very widely spoken about practice, but 2 concept. And so many people are genuinely missing out on what makes affirmations key. They're not somebody else's affirmations. No. They come from you. They're what's important to you. But it also comes with, you can't think them. They have to come out, and they have to come out with power, with force, with meaning, with
assertiveness.
with
Yes.
assertiveness and with intent.
Mm.
But when you're looking at yourself snoot to snoot in the mirror, have that body language, because your conscious mind is going to say, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
And when you have that, that superwoman stance,
Mm-hmm.
your actual physical body is there challenging that conscious mind to stand down.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to pose like that. You could just put your arms up and go, yes.
Whatever's comfortable for you for that, right? And those who are listening on the audio, please go ahead and grab on the video, because you're going to want to tune into this. This is a really powerful tool. And I'm so glad that you pointed this out. Because affirmations and talking to yourself in these ways, people do it, but they're missing critical points.
Yes.
And it's that force, it's that intent, it's that speaking, it's that looking at yourself. And that's where they're going to find the change. Right?
Yes. Yes. And affirmations, I actually cover affirmations in my my 7-day law of attraction challenge. It's all about the law of attraction. So I teach people that there are 2 very important times of the day when you should be doing your affirmations. You need to set an alarm on your phone. I have 5 alarms going off in the day, and I have a different affirmation that I say.
Okay. What times of day do you do your affirmations?
Well, the 2 most powerful ones are they call it the wake up call, or the activation time.
Yeah.
Or the code of activation, which is 11:11 in the morning, 11:11 at night.
My favorite times of day.
These are the most powerful times of the day, but you can do them anytime you want, but you've got to do them and you've got to feel it. I mean, when I've got something like, I've got them all pinned around my monitor too here. I can just look at one. Well, one of my favorite ones is, I am ready to receive unlimited abundance from the universe. So I don't say it like a robot. I do it and I literally clench my fist like this. I don't know if you can, and I'm like, I'm ready to receive unlimited abundance from the universe with so much gusto.
It has to be with gusto.
Yes.
I'll do mine throughout the day, but I walk my son to school. He's 6. And as we're walking, he'll do his little obstacle course thing. Yeah. But we'll also do our affirmations. I am wise. I am powerful. Yeah. I am in control of my thoughts. And we do them together. He might be 6 and he might not fully comprehend the grave importance of the practice. No. But as he steps into adolescence and into adulthood, these principles, these practices, I hope are a part of his life, and he'll be able to really reap the rewards from a very young age, instead of getting all the way to my age and then just beginning out.
Lauren, you are a fantastic mom if you're doing that, because what you're doing is you are programming your son. I hate to use that word, but it is. You're programming your son in the right way with some fantastic coding that he doesn't have to undo. Right?
Well, see, that's just it. When I went through school, and I went to one of the top school systems in the nation when I was in primary, secondary school. But as I came through into adulthood and into, my own awakening and growth as a business owner, I really had to do a ton of unlearning bad habits. Yeah. Like, I have to do this alone. I have to have it 100. No input. No, you just have to know it. I had to unteach myself dozens of limiting beliefs and programs to be able to be a successful business owner, to be a successful industrialist. Yeah. And business owners in general don't realize it, right? Because it's not something we talk about. How many people do we talk about or talk to, and they say, my school didn't serve my higher purpose because here I am struggling as a business owner because I was never taught how to form and create a team. I have no darn stinking idea how to read business, balance sheets, financials. I have no idea. I don't know how to negotiate, set up these vendor accounts. Nobody was prepared, right? So we have to unlearn everything, but then we have to replace it with the right processes. Yes. And, the fact that you're a coach fits in really well here. So you have to unlearn things, but then you have to replace it through the right people that serve your need. So having a coach, having a mentor is is critical. It's imperative, because how are you going to take yourself to whatever the prescribed level you're going for without having someone who's been there, done it, worn the t-shirts, and has the blisters from the heels to teach you how to do it, to shorten your timeline, so you don't have to go through the painful experiences, the mistakes, and then you have to undo the mistakes, and that's expensive, and it takes forever. So no matter where you're trying to level up in business, having a coach saves you time, saves you money.
Yes.
It's not an expense. Even when, and I learned this firsthand painfully, when I first came on with my coach, I was like, man, this is kind of expensive. But it only took about 2.5 weeks to realize, like, this is a grand investment, because I might be putting out these things called dollars, but he's pouring into me knowledge that only 1% of the global population has. And that is priceless. So my education and what I learned from a private financier, from a private banker, from a leverage master, from the M&A team is absolutely priceless. What I did spend, like, I should have spent 18 times more of that, because that was the value commensurate with it. And there's really got to be those people, like the coaches and the mentors like yourself, that are going to say, listen, I can appreciate where you want to go. I was in the same shoes, but this is what I did to change that. And because you're a type A and you're very good at connecting with people, you must be really good at just zeroing in on what they need to improve on and giving them an actionable plan to achieve what they want, right?
Yes. I can ask the right questions so they can dig deep and find out why they have low self-esteem and what fears are holding them back. Yeah.
What do you, don't name any names, confidentiality.
Okay.
But what is typically the biggest cause of low self-esteem? It's women, business owners.
It's the parents telling them they're not good enough.
The parents.
Yes.
Okay.
Showing them that they're not good enough. Maybe because they're the eldest, and therefore the eldest is supposed to lead the way, or the middle child.
You rely on them for food, for shelter. Like you're fully reliant on them as babies, as children, as we come up.
Yes.
So it seems like it's only natural that you would adopt that programming, not even as a matter of survival, but as a matter of fitting into that unit, that household unit.
Yes. But when your parents are so, I can't think of another word, but strict with their principles and their morals and the way that they want to parent you, right, you start taking on what they're saying to the point where you can't discern whether it's good for you, right? So and then the thing is, you compare yourself to them. And there's 3 things you should not do, and that is compare, criticize, and complain. Because that just lowers, it just pulls down your self-esteem, rock bottom. Yeah?
I was so guilty of that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even 12 years ago, I was so guilty of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that most women probably do that, but I wouldn't have thought that it would come from parents so much. So that's a bit of a surprise. Those who are listening, make sure you comment. Let's get a poll going on that. Yes. What would you say is your or was your biggest source of self-esteem issues? Comment on that on whatever platform you're listening to us or watching us, because I think that's something important that, let's uncover that, because the first step to actually restoring it and fixing it is to identify it. If we don't identify where our shortcomings are, how do we grow to the next level? Right?
Yes. I'll give you an example, actually. I am coaching a friend of mine pro bono, right? Yeah. And we did a real deep dive, and she had a very domineering type A father who really wanted a boy, but ended up with 3 girls. So she took on the persona of a boy, and I did the same. I did the same. Yeah. So I relate, I resonate, and I totally get her. And so she's always, she's the prettiest. Yeah. And she's always been pushed down and made to feel like she's unworthy, she's not loved. They also didn't, her parents didn't really show her much affection. The same with me.
Welcome to the Principled Women in Business podcast.
It took me a while to be tactile, to touch somebody or to hug willingly, without feeling so uncomfortable or dirty,
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I know my parents loved me, but they did it in a different way. They just didn't give me hugs and kisses and all that, My dad especially didn't. And I looked up to my dad. I put him on this very high pedestal, which I couldn't reach. But at the same time, he was projecting his dreams on me. And I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who can relate to this, because the same situation happened with my friend. Yeah. And they're living their dreams through you. And then when you realize, and you're like, well, I don't want to do what you did. I want to blaze my own path. Let me do it. And that's when you get this constant rebellious friction going on in the family, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't I know it? Oh, don't I know it?
Yes.
I was always the maverick in my family. So I can absolutely appreciate, and I've lived that. I still do. Mm-hmm. But I'm so okay with being a maverick. I'm actually very proud of that.
I am attracting all the black sheep of the families all over the world. I resonate with them so much.
That's because we're all families. All the black sheep, we're just looking for that. And it's not the relations family, right, necessarily. It's those who resonate on your level and who are helping to support you and elevate you through your mission. And that family is the one that's going to help you move beyond your fears that you hold of yourself or your profession, or is going to help you take your self-esteem to the next level and really help you break down those limiting beliefs.
Yes.
I love my bloodline. I love my family. But I've found so much more support in other members of my family, and other business women need to know out there that that's not wrong. That's not abnormal. You were just looking for your people. You were looking for your tribe. Yeah. And that's actually one of the reasons why I created the PWIB, the Principled Women in Business podcast, is because most of us were black sheep. We did the things, we studied the things that our families maybe really didn't appreciate, didn't support. But who else out there is going to support? And that's what we're all about, is bringing together growing women, growing business women, and teaching each other how to blaze that path, that maverick, that rebel path that you've dreamed of for how long. You just didn't know how you were going to make that happen. Maybe you weren't in the right environment. Maybe you weren't in the right mindset, or you didn't have the right team, the right tools, the right knowledge, whatever the case may be. That's what PWIB is all about, bridging. Because no matter what people think that you don't have, I promise you already have it. You just have to reach out to people like myself, to people like Julie, to all of our guests on the show, because the idea here is to join up as a team. Because I don't have all of the skills that Julie has, and Julie doesn't have all of the skills as somebody else. But when we come together as a team, now this entire circle of strong women have all of the skills that every single one of us needs to grow.
And we are formidable when we are united.
Oh, more than formidable. We're unstoppable.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea, is really to bring the formidable strength, that power, that we're coming for it. And there's nothing that's going to stop it anymore, because not only are we changing our own families, our own experiences and lifestyles, but we're helping the globe, humanity, to elevate their socioeconomic lifestyle. So thinking better.
Yes.
Business better. Yes. Banking better. And having a business, running a business isn't just about a revenue. It's about a mission. It's about an impact.
Yes.
And elevating the whole of humanity, because, team, there's no I in team. And we're a global human team.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us play these different roles. We all have our greatest skills, but it's really bringing them forth in a fearless way and unleashing our inner lionesses, our inner lions to help elevate the condition, the socioeconomic status of humanity. And that's probably one of the reasons why you and I resonate so deeply together, is because that is both of our missions, is to help bring humanity at whole to a higher level, to end the suffering that billions are dealing with.
Yes. Yeah. Just going back to what you said, though. I believe that the black sheep of of the family are the movers and the shakers, the inventors, the scientists, of the world. Without us, humanity would not move forward, would not progress, would not evolve, because we don't stay on the boring path. We want to go and do the detour and go and see the scenic route. We don't want to be stuck on the tourist route, going through the city. No, we want to go off the beaten track and mingle with the locals and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's more exciting.
Yay! Yeah. I smell a vacation coming soon. Yes, the beaten path.
Yeah, off the beaten path. Yeah, blaze your own trail. That's my motto. Yes.
How many vacations did I go on? And they offer the specified tourist excursions, and I'm like, whoever I'm traveling with or whoever I've met along the way, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this tour. Okay, well, I booked a taxi and we're going to go on into the village, the town, whatever we're going to do. And let's go see what the locals are doing. I live in a tourist town.
Yes,
so,
I
know. When we're doing tours, we take you to very specific places, but you don't really get a sense of, that place, that locale.
Yeah, of course.
How funny. No, black sheep, we're very much all the same.
Yeah, it's true.
So now I do have to ask, because this is one of my critical questions on PWIB.
Yes.
What is your biggest struggle as a woman in business, a female business coach, whether it's forming, obtaining capital to grow? What's your biggest struggle in business?
Okay, so when you're doing online business, you have to have the know, trust, and like factor. A lot of people will tell you this.
Yes.
Okay, it's the usual business buzzwords for online business. And so I've got the know and I've got the trust. It's just I'm not 100% with my procedure of getting the like. Yeah, I think they like me, but without asking them, and then like interrogating them and asking them, do you like me? Say yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. And because I'm not 100% sure about the like, I'm not able to convince them that I am the only person in their universe who can make that transformation for them to become the lioness they really, really want to be.
Now, do you work with only women, or do you also work with men?
Yes,
as well?
I've decided, well, after working with men for so many years, I think like them. I finish their sentence. I know what they're thinking all the time. It's I need to step away from that. I've got too much masculine energy anyway. I need to be more feminine. There's a yin and yang balance, and I'm not balanced. Yes.
There is definitely a balance. Balance is one of those things that's, I'm not going to say hardest, but trickiest maybe would be an appropriate word to achieve. Because when you think you are balanced, still, if you ask an outsider looking in, there still might be something that's out of balance that you hadn't realized. So I can appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You even made the comment that I look different from, some of the other times you've seen me.
Yes.
But I go from very girly girl to very tomboyish, sometimes in a matter of a day, kind of depending where I'm at, what I'm feeling. But I like being both. And I like to say that that's both of my yin and yang manifesting and showing their balance.
Okay, that's cool.
It gets fun. It gets fun, especially that shock and awe factor.
Yes. Yeah, you're definitely going to shock them. All right.
But I find fun in that. Well, I'm glad you were so candid with that. So I do really want to highlight what is the biggest win. We're 3 months into 2022. We're closing out of this thing called COVID era. What is your biggest win in unleashing your lioness and growing this business that is having such a profound impact on the lives of women? The lives of the people that these women are working with, their businesses. What is your biggest win?
Only relating to my business?
Generally speaking.
Or being the lioness?
Let's do both.
Okay. Being the lioness.
Let's really celebrate you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I don't get to do this very often. I really don't. Too modest from my own good. Too modest and humble. So my biggest win recently is I have literally saved his life, a German man who was diagnosed by a psychiatrist and a doctor as being literally crazy. And yes, they've, what's the word? Professionally diagnosed him, I guess, as bipolar disorder with sudden bouts of depression based on previous drug abuse. Okay. So they are quite ready, because I saw the report. They're very, very ready to stick him in a straitjacket and shove him in an asylum, totally away from society.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And I managed to intervene. The universe sent me somebody to get me into the group, and I was watching the chats and just observing and trying to understand this man. And he was basically just doing a massive download of all of the frustration of not being heard, and the knowledge that he had was amazing. And the more I read his stuff, because it was very disjointed. So that's a person, to me, that's not a crazy person. That is a person who is a really high-level thinker, who's so creative, who's possibly, well, yeah, he is. He's a savant. I don't know if your audience members know what a savant is.
You can tell them if you like, just to get that clarity.
A savant is somebody like Mozart, who could hear the music, could feel the music. John Lennon was the same. I'm a savant too, because I'm like that with music. And it's just a gift they have. A lot of top musicians have it. But it can be also with your artistry or creating stuff or anything. It's just something, this talent that you were born with, that you cannot explain where it came from. It's not something you've learned. Yeah.
Perfect.
So he had this, he's a savant, definitely. And I could tell by his messages, because they were so erratic, that he was really, really high level intelligence. And I thought, wow, he is not crazy at all. And these, what I now understand, are 3D thinkers, very low level intelligence people, are labeling him as crazy because it suits them, makes them feel comfortable if they stick a label on him. Yeah. And this is what we are doing as humanity. We're putting labels on people to make us feel better. Oh, you're black. Oh, you're Catholic. Oh, you're whatever,
We're going to have to do a whole nother episode on that one, because boy, labels, I'm telling you.
Oh, yes.
And anybody who knows me knows how I feel about labels like that. It just gets my Billy Goat gruff. So
I saved this guy and I got him out of the group and I said, I need to talk to you. You are not crazy. I know you're not crazy because I think like him. You're not crazy and I'm not crazy. Yeah. And so I pulled him out of the group. I told the guy who brought me into the group, I said, the guy's not crazy at all. I don't know what you're doing to him. Whatever it is, it's not working and it's not good for him, his mental state.
Right.
He wasn't being listened. He was sending screenfuls of stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm only on message 6 and there's another 10 to go. Just, and he's sharing photos of his home and stuff. And I'm like, wow. And I was the only one acknowledging that he'd sent these messages. The only one. And there was a group of 10 people in there, all trying to help him. All of us trying to help him.
Right.
But none of us listening, except me. And do you know how that feels when you're not listening? You're just ignored. It's horrible.
Yes, I very much remember that.
God, it's horrible. But the Dr. Emoto, I keep going on about him. Dr. Masaru Emoto, I think that's how you pronounce his name, came up with the rice experiment because he was looking at water molecules. Okay, and everything is affected. Everything is made up. This is Nikola Tesla's quote. If you want to understand the universe, you need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So Dr. Emoto looked at how frequency and our words are just frequency, right?
Very much.
Okay. How our words affect water molecules, because water molecules are quite sensitive to frequency. Right? Oh, you're looking excited now.
You're getting me all excited. I love talking about this experiment.
Yeah, so he came up with the rice experiment. And you can see under the microscope, the lovely snowflake formations of the water when you tell it, I love you.
Yes, and then say horrible things into another glass and look under the microscope. It's mind-blowing. The first time I did the experiment,
you did it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing.
And the fact that you're bringing it up and telling, everyone who's listening to us, the power of words.
Yes.
Which brings back the power of thought.
Yes.
And that comes back again to power of thought and unleashing your lioness and unleashing her to think better.
Yes.
Speak better, because that's where you're really going to find your power, your strength, your fortitude, your omnipresence.
Yes. But you've got to listen to the inner child. I've had the inner child locked up in a box.
Yeah.
Your inner child is the lioness that wants to come out. Or the lion, right?
Right. Remember, you hit adulthood and you're not a child anymore. She's got to get locked up.
Yeah.
Not the case at all.
I know.
Not the case at all.
Yeah. But when you get older, let's say you go past the 65 mark, I'm just plucking a number out the sky, suddenly him or her comes out the box and that's what happens, yeah?
Yeah.
You go through this entire cycle and you start behaving childish again as you get older and older. Yeah.
Let's just behave like children now.
Yeah.
Live in joy and live in happiness and abundance. Let's just do that now and not wait until then.
Yes. Laugh and dance and sing without judgment, fear of judgment, right?
There's that word again, fear.
Yeah.
We have to, that's what makes you so critically important, especially to other business women, business owners, is there's usually an underlying fear of failure, of
I know.
I'm not good enough, of imposter syndrome, of I'm not worthy of this, I'm not worthy of that. Of course they don't want to work with me. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. So many women business owners are struggling with that and definitely need to get with you right away. Because the faster that your lioness is unleashed and brought out, the faster your business is going to grow. And whatever coach you're working with to obtain capital, to grow, to scale your business or to sell your business, the more effective you will be in those spaces. As soon as you can eliminate the fear and really, really encapsulate and live the I am possible, I am worthy. Everything will change. Everything will change. It's always, everything begins with a thought.
Yes, definitely.
Everything begins with a thought, and then that's an emotion, and then the emotion triggers the action.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cycle, right?
Yes, of course. Yes.
We coin ourselves all the time by speaking forth our thoughts. So let's really make sure that our thoughts are powerful, that our lioness, our inner child, is the one speaking, because that'll really give you insight on if you're on the right path or your wrong path.
Yes.
If you're in alignment with your life mission and your purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Those are the best indications. The one from within's are the best indications that you're on the right journey, the right path.
Yes. I just wanted to speak directly to your audience that the inner child is the child who doesn't hold back, who doesn't have the fear to say what they think. Remember when you were in the playground? When you're in the playground and you see maybe your friend go up to some man and say, or some woman and say, "Oh, you're fat," but she's pregnant, right? You know? Or, "Oh, what happened to your hair?" You know? Yeah. Why don't you have any hair anymore? Have you grown out of it or something? You know?
Oh, can say the darndest things. You are so not kidding.
Exactly. But they've got no fear. Yeah.
Yeah. You're spot on.
Yes. So this is how we should be. Obviously, we live in a civilized society, so we can't go around offending everybody. But, the concept is there. Yeah.
Very much agreed. Very much agreed. I'm so glad that you came on with us today. I'm sure our listeners are, they're hearing all of the stories. You guys are going to have to go back and get the video. Seriously, there's no avoiding this. So I do have to ask though, because we've gone all of our inner lioness, everything. What do you really want to be remembered for?
My legacy.
Yes. What do you really want that to be?
Well, I've just changed my banners, and I've now gone from 100,000 women. This is how sure I am of my mission. I've now upped it to 1 billion women. Now that is a hell of a figure.
That is a big jump.
Yeah,
big jump. But you want to know what? A small target doesn't get hit.
Okay. Yes.
Make it a bigger target, because even if you fall short, you still hit the real number.
Yes. Yes.
Small targets don't get hit, especially when you put them off down the timeline and you're shooting for something a mile away or a kilometer away.
Yes.
You get smaller and smaller and smaller. Or smaller and smaller. Small targets don't get hit.
Yes, I used to do archery. Yes, you're absolutely right. I was Maid Marian in Sherwood Forest. Would you believe?
No kidding.
No kidding.
My son and I are going camping today, and one of the activities they do is archery.
Oh, fantastic.
That's one of his favorite activities.
Oh, it's cool. It's really good. It's actually very therapeutic.
Yes.
Yeah, when you get in the zone, it's really therapeutic.
Agreed. Agreed.
Oh, cool.
So what is one question that you wish that I did ask you? And how would you have answered?
Oh, wow. Oh, you didn't ask me what my mission was.
Well,
my specific mission. My specific mission is to transform female kittens who are aspiring or newbie entrepreneurs to become fearless, strong, and confident lionesses, so that they can live a life by default. By design and not by default.
How can I help you to achieve that mission? How can we, as the principal women in business, help you to achieve that mission?
Okay. You, as an audience member, have to realize that you can be the lioness that you've always wanted to be. It is within you. It just needs unlocking. And I am the key. I'm not kidding you. I am the key. I can get it out of you.
I agree.
We'll do a deep dive. We'll find out where you want to go, where your path is leading you, and what on earth is blocking you. Yeah. And
you're more of the mentician portion of business, where I'm more of the pillars of business, as in commerce, is how we kind of fit together. Okay. So everybody listening, Julie Elves, Unleash Your Lioness. When you're a business owner, an aspiring business owner, a solopreneur, a CEO, any type of C-suite position, you want to make sure that you're getting in contact with her. You can easily just click the connect button wherever you're listening, and I can introduce you personally. But get with her. Unleash your strength, your power. There's something that's holding you back that you're not able to get to your next level. And Julie will help you to uncover that, so that when you come back and speak to me, we can really get you and your business to the level that you want in a shorter timeline. Because as much as we all are going to be here for a prescribed number of years, we want to be able to shorten the timeline in our goals so that we can get more in our mission and our purposes accomplished.
Great. Yes. And it takes two coaches to get you to where you want to be, because you've got to have the right mindset. And then you've got to have the tools. So I'm the mindset and you're the tools. They go hand in hand, complementary. Yes.
That was, mindset was one of the things that perhaps I struggled with most in business. That took me a couple of years to grasp. And something my coach, my mentor said one day, it was that moment. And from the moment, everything starts changing. Mindset first. Then you can take focused, actionable steps that will actually get you to your goal, instead of this rigmarole of failure and feedback and getting up and pain, and eliminate that, shorten that, get the mindset on point, get the business on point, and then you can really actualize everything you've desired in a shorter timeline.
Yeah, because you might have the world's best business strategy, but if you're not wired to be an entrepreneur and a successful business person.
If you have a sour thinking, then nothing that I can do is going to create that longevity.
Exactly.
I can do huge miracle works of magic, but if your mindset is going to revert back to that portion that you were struggling in, your results are going to be short-lived. You're not going to be able to go to the next level, because when your mind reverts, your actions revert.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Yes.
Mindset. And remember, guys, 11-11 and 11-11, make sure that you're doing your affirmations and really talk to yourself, really talk to your inner child, and remind her or him what they need to know, what they've been waiting for, that you're going to tell them. And if you're going to need some guidance, I know I did, make sure that you're getting in touch with Julie. Again, I can introduce you personally. Hit the subscribe button, all of that, and we'll create a whole chain going over to Julie, because she is your lioness. Unleash your lioness. You're not a coach, you're a specialist. Unleash your lioness, confidence and fear specialist.
Fear and Self-Esteem Specialist. And I might add that you can halve your fears and double your self-esteem in only 12 weeks. And if you're really type A, we can halve that time. Okay?
Everybody listening, get on it, because I know you don't like living in your fear. I know you don't like questioning yourself. I know you really don't appreciate other people questioning you. So take the first step. Get in touch with myself, Lauren Dulgheru, also known as the Solutionist, and Julie Elves, and that we can shorten that timeline so that you can have everything that you've been thinking about, you've been dreaming about. We just got to get you those tools and those pieces to get you successful and keep that success going, because it really starts with mindset. I agree. Julie, thank you so much for being here. Your insight and your expertise is it's fathomably unparalleled. And by meeting you has been probably the biggest pleasure in the last couple of years
Oh,
to,
wow.
find another woman who's on my same mindset, on my same wavelength, having gone through, terrible experiences, very hard lessons and growing pains, and really being able to identify with somebody else in that growth structure. So many women especially feel as though they're alone when they've gone through a traumatic event or a hard series of events, but that's absolutely not the case. We just got to start opening our mouths and speaking to other women, and you'll very quickly find that you're not alone.
No, nobody's alone. No, I used to think that, but no, nobody's alone.
That's not the truth at all. You're only alone because you thought it.
Yeah.
When you start opening your mouth, like a hungry mouth or a closed mouth never gets fed.
True.
A closed hand never gets fed. So you got to start opening your mouth, start talking, start reaching out to specialists like myself, like Julie, start engaging with people who know more, who have more experience, more specialized knowledge than you, to help you propel yourself to your next desired level. Yeah. Really reach out and make that your priority to help grow yourself, to reach out to people who have done what you want to do, been where you want to go, and have the knowledge that you need to have to shorten the timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody knows everything.
No, nobody can make all the possible mistakes either. Exactly. That's not possible. You got to learn from somebody else, right?
And if you don't want to spend 18 years becoming a lioness and you want to do it in 12 weeks, then you've got to pay for that. Yeah, you've got to invest in yourself. Yeah.
Invest, not expense in yourself. Invest.
Yes.
Invest, not X. See, X is going out. Invest is coming in.
Yes.
It's magical.
Love that.
Etymology.
Yes.
I love it.
Fantastic. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Honor and privilege to be your guest.
And I'm sure that everybody listening got so much insight and value from hearing you today. The Principled Women in blah, blah, blah. The Principled Women in Business podcast is really about growing together, everyone bringing their struggles, their skills, their strengths to really play together and shorten timelines to goals. There's no need to struggle for decades and decades and decades. You have your master advisory board right in your backyard or right in your computer. You're listening to us right in your ears. All you have to do is engage and start thinking of invest instead of expense. You want things to come into you.
Yes.
You don't want things to go away from you. So as you're growing, you need to bring in knowledge, not expel knowledge as you're growing. That's a really good way of thinking about it. But for all of my listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Principled Women in Business podcast with myself, Dulgheru, aka the Solutionist, and my honored special guest today, Julie Elves with Unleash Your Lioness, our fear and self-esteem specialist. I always want to say confidence because she just emanates this huge, loud confidence. It's programmed in my own brain. So maybe you need all three. But everybody out there, I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, like, and share both this audio and the video because your girlfriends don't want to miss this, or your men colleagues in business. They really need to hear the other perspective as well. So until next time, I'm Dulgheru. Thanks for joining us.
And that wraps up another episode of the Principled Women in Business podcast. Follow us on social media to never miss an episode and to unlock full access to your trusted business solution center. Find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, and YouTube. Till next time, stay strong and keep crushing. Find us at laurendulgheru.me or call 407-337-1117.